Hello everybody and welcome back to Module 2, our continuing discussion of APA style. We are going to be talking about reference section citations today instead of the in-text citations that we talked about last time that are the ones that we reference or cite within the body of our, our document. These go at the end in the reference section, the complete citation, excuse me, to which the ones in the text refer at the end. So here we have the basic outline or the basic layout and format of a reference section citation for a journal article. Now there are book chapters, there are books, there are edited volumes, there are lots of different kinds of citations, but the most important one for you to learn right now is the journal article citation, because journals are the premier way that psychologists publish their work. And there's a trick to remembering that, hopefully, that will help you. So first of all, notice the last name is first, and by the way, these go in alphabetical order as you go through your reference section. And then you have a comma, and then the first two initials, the first and the middle initial. There's almost always a middle initial. Sometimes there's not, and that's fine, but there often will be. Period, and then a space, and then the date in parentheses, followed by a period. And then the name of the article, so the article title. For example, self-conscious emotions. Now notice that after the colon I have a capital S, but for the rest of it, it is lowercase. This is called a sentence case sentence here because it only starts, it reads like a sentence basically. So self-conscious emotions, colon, shame, guilt, and embarrassment, period. So the title of the article goes next after the date. Then we have the title of the journal, and this is where you can tell that journals are really important compared to books and other things in psychology. Notice that Journal of Personality and Social Psychology Bulletin, which is the name of a journal, is in title case. Notice how every important word is capitalized. So that tells us that the journal is important. In a book, the book title would just read like the title of a journal article, so it's less important than a journal itself. So note then that you start with the name, the date, the title of the article, and then the title of journal, immediately followed by the volume number, and immediately, with no space in between, in parentheses, the issue number if given, and then a comma, and then space, and the the page number limitation, so the extent of all page numbers including references, and then a period at the end. So this is basically the way that a reference would look in a reference section. And again, as I said, if you had Anderson, for example, that would come first, and then Beethoven would come second, etc. Now there are some tricky things. If you had two Millers, for example, you would say you had a Miller A, that would come before Miller R. If you had several Millers, then you would put them by date. And feel free to go ahead and look those up in your APA manual, because sometimes it's tricky and there's lots to remember, and I don't expect you to remember all the details of APA style, just the basics, just the most important things. The other thing too is when you get your journals online, there will be a DOI number and a retrieved from and by date, and you will go ahead and include those as well. You can usually just copy and paste those and look in your APA manual as well to see how to do that. But for the most part, this is the basic information. So when you look in the reference section, say you see a really cool citation, something somebody found in an article that you read, you're like, ooh, I want to find out where that is. I want to get that article and read it. Hopefully you'll actually get to that point. And then you can look it up and say, okay, well, this is the journal it's in, and maybe I can actually find that online. And if not, then ask a librarian. We can do interlibrary loans. That's a really great way to get your articles quickly if we don't have them in our database. Since you guys aren't on campus, you can't physically go to the library, but they can mail you a copy of any article that you want or any book chapter. So again, this is the main way to do a journal article. The difference between a book chapter would be that you'd simply have the name of, a book would simply have the name of the book, and then it would have the city and name of the publisher. And, and that's the main difference between a book and a journal. Like I said, though, most of the time we're going to be using the journal articles because they are the primary source, and books are secondary sources. So we tend to use more of the primary sources. So hopefully that clarifies this for you, and we will be practicing some of these in class, and hopefully, oh, this is not supposed to be underlined, it's supposed to be italicized, but I could not figure out how to write in italics. My handwriting is bad enough as it is. So hopefully this is helpful to you, and we will practice in class, and I will see you then.